So what we're looking at here is a list of internal use parts. And after setting these up, we discovered that we want a lot of these to be inventory type parts, not internal use type parts. So to fix this, we're going to use two different export tools, export and import tools. We're going to export part product vendor pricing, and we're going to export the part product renaming. I'm going to export both of those. Let's go ahead and do that. And is this a good place to export it to, or should I put it on the desktop? I just throw it on the desktop.
Okay.
And I'll rename it to PP vendor pricing to change internal use, just so we know which one we're working with. And this is a nice little tool here that will come in handy. We can put a filter here to only export the internal use type parts. Instead of exporting everything, I can select parts, filter it by part type, internal use, select all the internal use. Now, I imagine you might want to leave some at internal use, but this just gives us a smaller group of data to work with, focused on mainly what we want to work with. Okay, we'll go ahead and export that. And we'll open that as well. I love this new feature in Excel. It warns us about removing leading zeros. By default, Excel will perform the following data conversion to this file, remove leading zeros. We're saying, and we would say, no, don't convert. Don't remove leading zeros. I don't know if you have any leading zeros, but.
Yeah, I don't think so, but.
All right, so we're gonna go back to File Export again, up here in the top left-hand corner, File Export. And then I'm just gonna type in part, and this is just a little shortcut to narrow down this list. If you start typing something, it'll narrow down the list. So part and product renaming is what we want. So I'll click next there. And next. And let's put this on the desktop too. I'll use change. And this one doesn't have any filters. So this one is going to export all the parts.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this doesn't have the descriptions next to any of the parts. So to know which ones need to be changed, we need to use a V-Lookup formula to tie it to the ones that we want changed. Unless you can tell in a different way which ones. This is our list of internal use type parts that we want changed. The part type ID for internal use is 40. Okay, so we see 40 all the way down. The part type ID for inventory is 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to, set this up and change the ones to inventory that you want to change here. And I'm going to freeze panes. Now, if we change this to a 10 and import it without doing anything with the part product renaming spreadsheet, it's just going to give us an error message, right? Going to say, you can't do that. Sorry, can't change internal use type parts to inventory type parts. And over here, we've got the vendor info. So this is great. This is what we want at the very last step. This is what we're going to do, is import this. And you need to go through here and figure out which ones you wanted as inventory.
Okay.
And then change them to part type ID 10. I'm assuming you don't want all of your internal use type parts to be changed to inventory type parts, right?
That's correct, yeah.
There's
So,
a
yeah.
select few.
Mm-hmm.
So VLOOKUP formula.
Mm-hmm.
Over here on the part and product renaming, we have old part number, old product number, and new part number and new product number. And the question is, well, which ones do we change? Which ones are the ones that we're going to change? We don't really want to change anything else, right? So I'm going to add a new column here as sort of a flag to tell us which ones, or to help us know which ones we need to change. And so VLOOKUP one of these part numbers over to our other spreadsheet and pull some data from that other spreadsheet that will help us determine here which ones we should change. And you can look at this and say, oh, that's what that is, because we can't easily tell what it is without the description, right? So let's turn filters and freeze panes and all that on. So this is easier to work with. I'm gonna turn on filters and I'm gonna click view and click freeze panes so we can scroll up and down and to the right and not lose what we're working on. I'm gonna sort this A to Z. Looks like down here, there's some items that don't have parts, they only have products. We can delete those off. And let's put our VLOOKUP formula right here. So equals VLOOKUP. And lookup value table array. So we're going to go over to this table and look up this table array, which is 2 columns.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of cool is it starts to recognize this formula between 2 different spreadsheets. And so you see the formula show up over here.
Yeah.
I type in a comma, and then it says column index number after the comma. Column
Mm-hmm.
index number is 2, the second column. And then I'll type in another column. Look up. Oh, we need to select the part first and then do the table array. And then comma, then 2, then false. Okay, we did the formula wrong, that's why. That's better, okay. So NA would mean it's not on the list. It didn't find the part. So that's good, we can delete all the NAs. And then I'm gonna sort this. And the ones that it did find on that spreadsheet, it returned the description.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that it did not find on the spreadsheet, it returned an NA. So we can just scroll down here, select these rows, and delete them. We don't need those. We just ignore them, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that helps. That gets us part of the way there. We still need to figure out which ones you want to change from internal use to inventory type parts. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I thought we could do is insert another column and do another VLOOKUP formula to pull over the part type ID, because you're going to go through that part type ID and change them all to 10. So if we grab that, then we can see on this spreadsheet which ones you're changing. So we'll do another VLOOKUP and select that. And select that. That's the 6th column over. So comma, comma, false. If I can spell false. There we go. That's pulling over the type ID.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with the type ID, we didn't even really need the description on here, huh? Type ID is probably the only one we need, you know? Because over on this spreadsheet, what we're gonna do is you're gonna change the type IDs that you want. You know, I'll just pretend like these are the ones you're gonna change or something. And you can go through and say, okay, this should have been inventory type part. This should have been inventory type part. And then we can sort it to put the type ID 10s on top
Mm-hmm.
and then delete all the 40s. When you do that, that will result over here in the part product renaming. A lot of these will become NAs. Now, there's one other piece of this puzzle that we haven't put on here yet, and that is the putting it to sleep. So we need to prepare this spreadsheet and decide which ones you want to change to inventory, but then put it to sleep. So this one we'll use concatenate equals concatenate, and we'll just say ZZZ, comma, part number. And that creates a concatenation. So with this, also the part active flag will be changed to, you need to change it to false. So that will change these to inactive. It'll change the part number to ZZZ and inactivate it. So the ZZZ parts will remain internal use. We're not changing the part types on the ZZZ. We're just inactivating it. We're just changing it to ZZZ and inactivating it. So essentially we're inactivating the old internal use parts in mass using this spreadsheet. And then once, you know, as you go through the spreadsheet over here on the part product vendor pricing spreadsheet, as you go through and you change it to type ID 10, type ID 10, type ID 10, you've got about 500 here. Type ID 10, type ID 10, type ID 10, right? As you go through and decide which ones should have been inventory type parts, over here on this spreadsheet, they're going to turn to NA, 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 NA. And then just be sure to delete all the rows that have NA because you're not going to change those ones.
Okay.
And then the very last step would be import the part product renaming spreadsheet. That'll inactivate the erroneous internal use type parts and change them to ZZZ. It'll change them to ZZZ and inactivate them. It's important to change them to ZZZ so when you create the part again as an inventory type part, it allows you to create it again. Otherwise, you'll just get an error message and it'll say, you can't change internal use to inventory. Well, we're not changing it, changing the part number and inactivating it and recreating it. That's what we're doing. To your point, before we started recording this, you said, hey, Lance, you showed us how to inactivate a part or quote unquote, put it to sleep, change it to ZZZ and inactivate it. But then we lost the vendor information and you had to manually key in the vendor information. But if you do it in mass on a spreadsheet like this, you don't lose the vendor information.
Nice.
It won't be lost.
So we re-import the renaming spreadsheet and then we re-import this spreadsheet with the changes?
That's right. Import the renaming spreadsheet first. Import the part product vendor pricing spreadsheet second. Put it to sleep first and then recreate it correctly second. Okay, so if you're still watching this, you're either an operations geek or you're just letting it run in the background, or this was super helpful and you were glued to the screen the whole way. That's what we do here at Brandow Consulting is we help you decide what software is right for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. And please, please, please react to this video. That tells YouTube that people like this video or if it was beneficial. Any type of reaction, YouTube says, oh, we'll let other people know about this video. So the commenting, please comment, subscribe, you know, whatever kind of reaction you can come up with, react to this video. And we greatly appreciate it. Click the link below, come to our website, fill out a contact form. I'm Lance, inventory software expert since 2006. And we have a lot of other videos like this for other software programs as well.